with Tom. This is webinar number 6, and it is types of grants. So happy June 16th. And I'm going to share my screen here. A little bit about me. I'm a grant writer. I'm a fundraiser. I've done curriculum. I've written curriculums. I've done strategic planning for nonprofits since 2020. So got a lot of experience. I've got a wealth of resources. So reach out to me. There's going to be all my information will be at the end of this webinar. So just go ahead and reach out to me anytime for anything. Anything I can help you with, I will. Going to try and again, I am going to tell you that I am technologically challenged, and I am going to try and share the screen, but it's not. Yeah, Lisa, why don't you stop it? Because I can't find this. Lisa, can you stop
Okay,
it?
that's okay. Good. I'm stopping. Hang on. Um,
Okay.
there you have it.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Tuesdays with Tom. This is week number 6. So this is our 6th webinar. And it's types of grants. So I'm going to go basically into the different types of grants. Just a little bit about me. I'm a fundraiser and a grant writer for over 20 years. I also do curriculum development for programming. I'm a strategic planner for nonprofits. And I have just segued into just focusing on animal and particularly equine based nonprofits and focusing on that and working forward with that. So I'm going to share my screen here and get us started. Well, believe it or not, I'm getting a little faster. It's not it's not there yet, but okay. There we go. Okay. So types of grants are competitive grants. These are discretionary grants, and they are on a they it's a rigorous application, and you have a merit review process. So applicants must outline specific projects and compete against others for limited funding. An example would be research grants awarded by the National Science Foundation to scientists proposing specific studies. So these are competitive grants. Most of the grants that you're going to, especially the foundation ones and the government ones, are going to be competitive. So you're you're going against other nonprofits. Uh, that's why a lot of times I like to do cooperative projects so that 2 or 3 nonprofits are together because these funders a lot of times will look at that like, wow, we're getting more bang for our buck. And those, especially the corporate grants too, you're getting, they're going to have more impact. So it's going to make a bigger difference for them. But those are the competitive grants. Formula grants are non-competitive grants. They're awarded automatically to recipients based on a predetermined numerical formula. Um, it's these kind of are a little bit more environmental and more, to the populations that are being served in that area. So it looks at poverty rates, it looks at demographics, it looks at income, well, obviously with poverty, unemployment levels, and then they kind of dictate how they're going to distribute that spending. So a lot of the times, this may work with some of the sanctuaries. I'm not sure how that would work, but that you can actually apply for some of these. And a really good one is the Community Development Block Grant, and these are for infrastructure a lot of times, and you can probably use these for facility development, getting maybe a covering for your arena or purchasing a tract of land or getting more property or like that. So those are the formula grants. Continuation multi-year grants. Now these are the ones you really want to get. So this is you'll get a grant and they'll renew it. So it's usually a multi-year grant, 3 to 5 year grant, uh, and they will continue to refund you as long as you do all of your reporting and you give them all the information. Like I've said before, make sure that you're just really in great contact with your program officer and tell them exactly what's going on. And if there's going to be any changes to program or anything, make that request, with that program officer. Uh, to make sure that they are abreast of everything, have a really good communication structure with them. So with these grants, you write the first grant and then you don't have to do another proposal for the years of the grant. The only thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to report on what you did and who you impacted or how many horses you impacted or animals or whatever you're working with dogs or just make sure that you report really, really well, and you're going to have that grant for that whole cycle. And a lot of times, after that 3 or 5 year period is up, they may do it again. You'll have to write another proposal for that, but they may even do it again for. So those are really great to get. Those are really great to get because when you're doing your financials and your budgeting, you can you can say this is already coming in, so you have that in your budget. So that's your continue your multi-year grants. Pass-through grants. These are uh, these are allocated by the federal or the state government, and they're usually regional. And what they are, there's appropriations that go through Senate, um, and they come to the senators of each state. So they have an allocated amount of money to spend in their state, and you can ask for the allocation of the appropriations funding piece of it. A lot of times it's for infrastructure like highways and transportation systems and things like that, but a lot of times it's for heartfelt projects and things that make a difference in the community. So I always ask. We have Senator Heinrich here in New Mexico, and every year I will just we'll make sure that we do that with him because you never know. And I have relationships anyway with all of the senators. Love to I love to talk to my government officials. I work with the mayor of Rio Rancho. Well, he just left. He's running for governor of uh, of New Mexico right now. But I was we did programs with him. I would help with like mesa cleanups. Out People dump a lot of stuff here, so we would go out there and take a dumpster out and fill it with dump trash and things and pull it out. But yeah, I always work closely with the government. It's a really good resource, and a lot of times they can find funding for you that you wouldn't have been able to access at all. So do them, help them out as much as you can. And that's the pass-through grants. A little bit about the different types of grants. There's your program support grants. Sometimes when in my presentations, I'm going to start kind of at the beginning and then we're going to advance. So this is kind of a little example of that. But you're going to have your program support grants. So those are going to support strictly your programming. These are restricted grants to your whatever you say that you're going to do with that funder when they fund you. So you're when you've got your grant agreement, everything that's in there is going to be it's going to be restricted to that. Your general operating grants are your those are the ones that you want. That are very hard to find, but those are for anything. Those are to keep the lights on. Uh, those are for travel, whatever you want to use that for, and then you just have to report on what it was that you used it for. Kind of they're looking mainly at your mission and your vision anyway. So uh, capital grants. these grants are specifically for building, for infrastructure development, such as your arenas, your things like that, building those out, your IT systems, things like that. And then research grants, which probably doesn't apply too much, although it could with the equine assisted psychotherapies, researching into impacts in different things like autism and PTSD and things like that. So those would apply in that kind of area. And it can go into the clinical trials and the innovation. And I know the VA is looking at research into the PTSD and suicide prevention. So um, they may fit into that area. How to source those federal and state grants? They're authorized by the government. They represent the largest pool of funding. Those are given out as block grants, big sums that go to the states, and they're a little bit different than the appropriations through the Senate. These are straight up grants that come in. You can probably find them on grants.gov. If you uh, look at your geographical area in the keywords on that. Um, but yeah, though they're big blocks, and for they're for infrastructure development again, or impacting low income areas and things like that, or bringing water into areas that, like we have Navajo Nation here, which three-quarters of it doesn't have running water. So, yeah, there's grants come in that like that. Foundation and corporate grants, we talked about those in the last webinar. They're distributed by private entities, family foundations, corporate social responsibility programs, and they're localized or ties to business community goals. So again, especially with the corporate grants, talking about that it's part of their advertising and part of their marketing plan. So you always want to think about that when you're applying for those. Target audience, there's education grants, which can uh, you can actually bring in people. You get the colleges involved in your programming and have that be a class that's taught within the university, and you can get grants for that kind of thing. So it's going to help undergraduate students or graduate students uh, not only pay for their college, but it can help with programming too. So if you can get your program accredited with a university, then you can ask for funding for that. Small business grants. I did not really look at this before. I actually had someone call me. They just started, and they started as an LLC serving what was it? He had miniature horses. That's what he had. He had miniature horses, and he wanted to know if there was any grants available just for him to do it. And I told him no. And actually, through the Small Business Association, you can get that funded before you're a nonprofit. If you're gonna start out as an LLC and then segue into nonprofit, or just stay as an LLC, which is perfectly fine too, especially for the startup, you can ask for grants. I'm actually going to apply for this business that I started, Equine Fundraising Services, because I'm an LLC, to just get my startup costs taken care of, because I've just been at this for less than a year, and it's been a really great journey, and we'd love to have a little bit of money to go with it. So yeah, so you can get small business grants. Don't listen to the old me, listen to the new me. All right, thanks. Other funding, uh, there's there's bootstrapping, which is self-funding. There's debt financing, which is loans, and then there's investor ownership, and then crowdfunding. Let me talk about these for a second here. Bootstrapping, you're going to use your own money and revenue. This is not the best idea, I don't think, because you're taking all the financial risk, and the capital is limited to your funds. And I've known people that have gone into their retirement funds just to do this. So I don't, the pro that you retain 100% ownership and control. Yeah, that's nice, but I just I don't think this pays off as well. I think I would just not, I would stay away from this because actually the added stress, worrying about the financials is not going to serve your programs, in my opinion. Loans. Um, yes, and borrowing money, you're just increasing your debt. And actually, what you want your financials to look like, you want to see you want to see earned revenue. You want to see grant revenue. You want to see that higher. You're going to try and match it so you're not going to have 50% of your funds are going into your savings into the organization. You want to spend that on programming, but you don't. I don't think you want to spend it on loans. You you're legally required to repay the money. So it can come out of your personal business credit. So I just I don't think it's a good idea unless you've got buckets and buckets of money. That and then why would you need the loan in the first place? So I kind of shy away from that. Equity financing, you this is selling shares of stock in your organization. Again, this is I don't know. I don't think you can do that as a nonprofit. I don't remember if you could do that as a nonprofit. Um, but you get large amounts of cash. It's good, and the cons are you give up a portion of the ownership and control over major business decisions, and shareholders can take your business from you. And it's the same thing. You want to be careful, like with your board when you're choosing your board, because you can get in with a board of directors. I know this is kind of off subject, but you can get in with a board of directors that all of a sudden changes, their ways or whatever, and decide, you're out. They can kick you out and take over your nonprofit. So, yeah, that's equity funding. Again, I just wanted to put these other things in there for you, but those three I don't really suggest. This one I do. Crowdfunding, you raising small amounts of money from a bunch of people. So doing your Kickstarters, your Indiegogo, and your equity uh, crowdfunding portals, it's great because you just get a little snippet of what you're doing and how important it is, and look at all these horses we've saved, and and do some a compelling plea for more money. We need to buy some more land. We need hay. We need whatever. Uh, you're not asking for a ton of money, so people are more apt to give, and it can turn into a huge amount of money. I highly recommend doing your crowdfunding. So those are other types of revenue other than grants. In conclusion, I want to talk about um, how to really kind of handle your the proposals themselves when you send them out. So no matter the type of funding, uh, 1 second, I'm having a little technical difficulty here. All right. Your proposals request should clearly reinforce your funding request and leave a persuasive final impression. So really, really look at your programming and really kind of define that in a way that anybody will understand it and anybody will feel what you feel when you designed it, or when you're sharing it. So really kind of go have a lot of people read your proposals and your baseline text for your programming so that you know that it's really, really clear. Reinforce your purpose and your impact. Summarize how the project aligns with the funder's mission. Really looking at in those RFPs, request for funding proposal, looking at their mission and looking at their vision, um, and the type of grant that you're looking for. Just get all that, and then use their text, use their speaking in your proposal. So that's going to make it stands out to them because they recognize it. They recognize that way of speaking, that manner of speaking, and they may not recognize yours. I know in some of the organizations that I wrote for, it was kind of an ego-based thing. I'm not sure what it was, but they refused. I was with a Native organization. They refused to uh, westernize anything. So everything had to be from an indigenous stand, all the proposals, all the proposals. So they would go out and people, Western civilization doesn't understand that kind of speaking. So you want to come from the funder's way of speaking when you submit your proposals. Take the ego out of everything. It's not worth it. Highlight the key benefits, briefly restate the expected outcomes. What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? Who are you going to impact? And how many are you going to impact? Justify the funding. So, why is it worth it for them to give you money? And this is so important. Emphasize urgency and fit. So, put it in that we need it now. We need it right now. We need that funding right now, or this horse is going to pass, or whatever it is. Uh, Explain why the timing is right and why your proposal is the best use of their grant funds. So, especially with these family foundations, they that was someone's estate, so they put everything that they lived for into that funding and into what you're going to use that money for. So they want their ancestors, their grandparents or whatever that is, to have their wishes fulfilled. So really, 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 really look at the fit. But urgency is huge, 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 huge. And with a persuasive closing statement. So leave them with a confident call of support that strengthens your case for approval, and give them that sense that you have sustainability, that you're going to be around for a long time. Not only does that give them the confidence to give you the money and it's not going to be wasted and you're not going to disappear within the grant period, but it's going to help you with your future funding, if particularly from that organization or that foundation. So that's it. I appreciate you guys very much. This was number 6. So we're going to be looking forward to number 7 next week. Here again is my contact information. You can call my phone, 505-738-4689. Anytime, day or night, it's on my computer. So it's not going to wake me up. Don't worry. And I will call you back. I promise you. Email's great too. equinegrantwriting@gmail.com is uh, that email address. If you have any questions, if you have any ideas, you have something going on within your organization, and you want answers to it, just reach out. Please, please, please reach out. I'm always going to help in one way or another. You can visit my website, that's got some of these past webinars on it, so you can go back and review some of the things that we've said in the past. And then I do have that Facebook page, Equine Fundraising Services. So that's it for today. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see you next week.